So let me do this real quick before I take more questions. Let me go over the format and then I'll continue with questions. So formatting wise, we've got sections 1.1 through 1.7. You're going to be, let's see, probably between 40 and 50 points. I haven't finalized the test and I'm done with it. I need to give points to different problems now and figure out my point allotment. You're going to have multiple choice in the very beginning. There's usually anywhere between like 4 to 8 problems here. And those are worth 2 points each. In the middle of the test, can you see this well? Can you see it? It's all right? Okay. In the middle of the test, you're going to have short answer. And short answer are either questions that I ask you to respond with words or like a true-false kind of thing, or some sort of a simple equation, something like a mediocre problem. And for these, you're having like between, every test varies, but I'd say between 12 and 20 of these. But these are short answer. They range from 1 to 3 points, depending on the problem. And then at the end of almost every test, you're going to have like long answer ones, and these ones are mainly things that are like more problem solving and lengthier problems. Some teachers call them free response in English, but it's not really free response. It's more just lengthier problems, and there's usually between 2 to 4 of these, where it might have part A, B, and C. Okay, and these problems are usually worth between 4 and 6 points each. So that's your overall format you could expect in the test. I can tell you that there's only 2 of these at the end, not up to 4. This is one of your shorter tests. Here, there's probably around this many, but a lot of them are really quick and easy, like true, false, short answers. And then multiple choice, I think there are 5 on this one, 5 or 4, forget what I put. Multiple choice, it's all right or it's all wrong, obviously. There's no partial credit for multiple choice. You need to get used to that. We are also going to try to implement this year in math, and I'll see when I decide to do it. This test I really don't care about because you'll see why. We're going to do a calculator portion and a non-calculator portion on almost all tests now. The reason being, the new SAT they just came out with, that they're just starting, the ACT exam, the AP exams for calculus, statistics, they all involve a section with a calculator and without a calculator. So we want you to get used to having tests that are in 2 parts. Part in which you're allowed to use the calculator and you should, and other parts where you don't need it. For the first test tomorrow, honestly, it doesn't help or hurt, I don't think. So I'll probably just be open calculator all test. If I want to specify, I'll write it on the test, and I'll give you like half the test. You turn in that half, and then I give you the other half of the test, and you can use your calculator for the second half. Okay, but I'll let you know when that happens. Yeah.
So I might like my calculator, but I'm not really sure like completely how to use it.
Yeah,
Maybe like do it once a little bit like soon.
How have you never used a graphing calculator before?
I used them, but I forgot.
All right, let me follow up with why are you telling this the day before your test?
Well,
Should have told me like a week ago.
Basic,
I'll go over basics for sure. I used to have a TI viewer and everything, but I don't even have it anymore. So I could show you on the calculator, but I used to have something where I can click and it would show. If you had told me, I would have brought it in. So the basics are all you're going to need for this test, most likely. You're not going to have to graph or anything. So when we get to the graphing, I'll definitely go over that. But if there's something that has thrown you for a loop in the last week or so, like exponents maybe, like raising them to a power, you're having trouble where to type it in, just ask me individually, or even ask me, but particularly ask me about it, okay? But I'll definitely go over the calculator when it gets to graphing. But for now, you should definitely be able to like just type in the addition, subtraction, multiplication kind of stuff. Trying to think of what else. I mean, there's other stuff you can use it for, like functions. You can take functions in and evaluate functions right on there. That can be very useful for the test to check your answers for work. But I'm probably not going to do like a lesson on that now, but I'll definitely go over it for graphing and stuff. When you got your calculator, did it come with a little manual? Yes? Like a TI 83 or 84 manual? I hope you didn't throw it out, because the manual at the back has what's called an index. So if you're trying to graph like parabolas or use the table function, you can literally go to the index and look it up. Worst case scenario, the manual is online. Just type in TI 83 or TI 84 manual PDF, and it'll come up as a Google Doc for sure. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But definitely bring your calculator tomorrow. Again, I'm not saying you're going to necessarily need it, but please bring it. All right, formatting. Okay, we understand. What questions do you want to go over that you are asking or that you're wondering about? What are the topics you're struggling with?
Oh, for the properties, I guess my properties and stuff.
The examples with the steps and the properties? We'll do that then. Let's start with that one. So let's take a look at an example. I'm going to pull it out of here for you. So let's go to... All right, so I'm on page 18. You want to look and follow along. You guys all have the e-text. You want to look and follow along on page 18. So we've got the following statement given at the top. The question is this. How do you get from this here to this here? You can barely see that. How do you get from, change this to blue. From that to that. Let me make this a little bit larger. There we go. So how do you get from the left to the right is what A is asking. Let me start with that statement because a lot of you are confused on what it's actually asking. When I gave it as a quiz, if you recall, I started the first line at the top above it and I didn't have anything there. So the question is, how do you get from what's on the left to what's on the top right? What allows you to do that? What allows you to do that, George? The distributive property. Most of you know this because you can see, take a look if you're confused, this 4 gets distributed to the x and to the 1, which gives it this, right? Again, this distribution gives you this right here. So A is distributive property. That's much better, right? You can see that much better? Okay. Now, the next question is this. If I want to know what goes in the spot for B, what gets you from this line to this line right here? So again, look up please. What gets you from here to here is what I'm asking. How come you're allowed to rewrite this statement as this statement? What allows you to write that? What allows you, Hannah? Multiplicative identity. Why is that? What does the identity property tell me?
That 4 times 1 is just 4.
Yeah, anything times 1 is itself.
Yeah.
So part B, to get from here to here is part B. That's where that's going. This is the multiplicative identity. Okay, multiplicative identity. Or identity property of multiplication. Honestly, the wording is not as important as knowing what it is. Okay, that's why you'll see if you didn't have the exact wording, I gave most credit, if not all credit to some of you. So again, this is step A, and this is step B. What is step C? What is it asking me for step C? Annette?
Wait, can I just say the answer?
Sure.
Associative.
Why associative?
Wait, no, sorry, no, it's commutative. Because you can just switch plus 4x plus 4 parentheses plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 4x.
Why did you think associative at first?
Because I thought that they put the 3 inside, but then I realized no, it's on the same because they're not switching through the parentheses. The parentheses stay the same.
Take a look. It's exactly what she was talking about for a moment. From here to here. All right? From here to here, though, you see the change in parentheses, obviously. But from here to here, there's no change in parentheses. All we've done is taken this 3 plus this whole thing and switched the order. When you switch the order, it's like you're commuting. You commute to school. Don't you go there and back? That's what my teacher used to say. You commute, meaning going there and back. You can switch directions. So you could switch the direction in which you're ordering or in which you're adding the 3 to this entire quantity 4x plus 4. So the question is, this is step C right here. That's step C. How do you get from that line, meaning the second line, to the third line? That's what step C is asking you. Max, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just taking a look at your faces. I want to ask sometimes. Now, Luke, tell me, how do I get this step, part D? How do I get from here to here? What do you see is happening, Luke? Tell me that.
The 4 going to the parentheses of 3.
Instead of the 4 being with this, right? So your grouping is changing, isn't it? The way your parentheses are set up is changing only, not the order. The order is commutative. When the grouping changes, it is associative. Okay, of addition. And step E is substitution. There are many others to try. Here's what I recommend you do. Look at page 18 and 19. Those are good examples to try. Okay, there's also an example on page 16. The book does an example on page 16, and then 18 and 19. If you're not sure if you're right, and you're going through it, just send me a PDF of the work, and I'll be happy to look over it. Okay? I have a couple hours today after school, free.